Hi guys, so it's been like almost 2 months since I filmed another podcast episode. Like, it has been a fat minute and I totally apologize. Truthfully, I just was not feeling inclined to make an episode if I didn't really have like a proper message. And sorry if you guys hear anything in the background. My brother is currently whistling in the kitchen. Okay, but anyways, today's episode is honestly something that I think is gonna be mind-boggling to some because it was something that shifted my perspective for sure, and also another reason why I didn't film a podcast episode the past like 2 months almost is because I honestly had another spiritual awakening and I really just don't feel like the same person I was even just 4 months ago. And I honestly really like that. Like, I mean, I'm doing all of this growth, and so I would hope that, every few months I truly do feel like a new person, because that's really what I'm trying to do in this lifetime. Like, I just want to be changing at all times. Maybe it's the Scorpio rising in me, just, always thinking so deep and wanting transformation. I don't know. Or it's just me finally growing up and becoming an adult and realizing that everything you knew from childhood is not what the reality really is, and that you can always change it. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize if I sound kind of weird. I decided that I just want to lay in bed and film this while laying on my back. So if it sounds like the audio doesn't sound that great, I apologize. Thank you to all of you guys for sticking around and liking my podcast. Honestly, that's crazy to me. And even till now, like, I still get really good feedback. So thank you. I think I've decided that my podcast episodes are all going to be on Spotify because it's not making my YouTube look cute, like having the little podcast thing show up. And so I think I'm going to keep all the vlogs on YouTube. And if you guys want to hear things that are a little bit more like introspective, deeper, spiritual, like, my podcast is the place for that. This little space is where I'm going to get real deep and spiritual, and some people will get it, some people will not. But hopefully if you guys get it, like, I hope you guys do, because I feel like recently I've been learning a lot and I have maybe a few more messages I can give you guys, because I have learned I cannot be making podcast episodes when I'm not feeling inclined to. That just feels forced, and we never want forced energy, right? Because if I make an episode and it's forced, there's like so many thoughts that basically slip my mind. And so we're gonna keep it authentic, and whenever I post is when I'm gonna post. It's my platform and I can do whatever I want, period. Anyways, again, if you guys want to go to Bali with me, I do have that trip still available, happening in August. It's only for girlies, so if you guys want to go, the link is gonna be in the description. But I hope you guys go, because my group is so cute, everybody's so sweet, and I think if you guys want to come, you guys will have so much fun. The tickets are still going to be on sale until like June, so you guys definitely have time to, think about it. Let me know. DM me if you're thinking about it. Please come. I think that would be so much fun. But who knows? What if I have another trip in the future? What if I don't? You never know. Okay, but today's episode is definitely going to be a little bit more laid back and informal, and I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but leave questions in the question box so that I can answer you guys' questions for the next podcast episode. What is something I have learned recently? So I have really changed my energy, and if you guys watch my YouTube videos, you guys will tell, like, you guys can see it. Like, a shift has happened in me, and for a period of time I was really here just enjoying the fact that I was transitioning and my life was changing, my energy was changing. It felt like I had a new glow up. But something I struggled with is realizing how that happened, like really getting down to the details. Like, how did I do that? Let's get down to the nitty and gritty. But because I couldn't figure out the answer to that, I decided to just stop making my podcast episodes, because I felt like if I didn't know how I changed and really got down to the details, I don't know. I just had no messages to give. Like, that's just how I felt. And so that's why I didn't film anything, because I really was just like going through this like transitional period, and I just needed time to be like in hermit mode, and just think. Like, I just wanted to think and figure myself out. So yeah, that's what I did. I got in hermit mode. I was just doing me, not having to explain myself to anyone and not feeling the need to teach anyone, especially myself. That was what was bothering me. Like, I couldn't figure out the details, but like, I knew I was thriving. But anyways, I figured it out, y'all. After 2 months, I answered my own questions. So I was thinking, okay, I really have like shifted my mindset, and mentally I feel like a new person. So how did I do that? Something I realized was that what we see in front of us, our life circumstances, how we grow up, everything that we think is our reality is honestly changeable. And that is something that I had to kind of think about and figure out, okay, if my reality is changeable, why does it feel like my reality is not? And so that's what kind of struck me, because I was just stuck in this period of how do I change my reality? Obviously I did it. I just needed to explain how I did it, because I think spiritually I figured it out, but physically my body was like, huh, what? I'm confused. Anyways, I figured it out, and I've said this so many times, but you know what? This podcast is gonna sound a little out of place because I really am just talking out my ass right now. But everything that is in front of you is not set in stone, and it is changeable. If you feel like you're in a place of your life where you're honestly just really unhappy and you feel like there's literally no hope and you think that you're going to be stuck in this forever, well, I'm here to tell you that that's really not the truth, and you can change it. It is all about shifting your perspective and doing the healing and the necessary internal work to make it happen. You can always change your reality now. Literally right now. The thing about this though is that if you want to change your reality, the answers will never be outside of you, and that's something that I truly had to learn too. Literally what we're looking for is something that'll make us happy and make us feel like we understand what's happening in our life. We want to know good things are coming, but it's how can we do that? It almost feels impossible. But the way you do that is just by realizing that the answers will never be outside of you. The answers will always be within you. And I kind of struggled with this because I would think that the answers would be outside of me. So I would think that dating a specific person could make me happy, being friends with specific people, having a specific lifestyle, eating specific type of food, buying my old apartment, thinking that you can buy happiness. And that is where I was very far off. I would go out and go shopping. I'm I can do this. This will make me happy. No, okay? It's really internally. Y'all, I literally went to Coachella. A brand sent me out, and I was so unhappy. And I literally manifested that. I wanted to go on a brand trip, but look, it didn't make me happy, because the answers will never be externally, outside of you. If you want to be happy, you gotta fix that shit internally. And here is how I figured it out. So how did I fix my internal to create change, shift my perspectives, and really just mentally just shift my mind? I don't know. So change comes when you stop doing what you did yesterday. And I'm gonna say that again. Change comes when you stop doing what you did yesterday. So I want you to take this moment to just be self-aware, okay? If you want to change, you gotta be self-aware. You really got to think, okay, what are my habits? What am I doing? What am I thinking? How does my life look right now? If you want anything in this world, you truthfully have to be very self-aware, because self-awareness is talking to your soul. It's you being intuitive. It's you talking to yourself, letting your soul speak to you. And how can you, shift your realities if you don't even know what's happening? If you are consciously not, looking at your life, right? How can you change your life if you're not looking at your life? So take this moment to be super self-aware on your lifestyle and your habits, okay? And also beware. If you want to change your life, and I'm about to tell you how to do it. If you want to change your life, beware. It's not going to be comfortable. It's honestly the most uncomfortable thing you're ever going to go through. And that is why so many people stay stagnant. It's literally because change is very uncomfortable. And when you change something, that's when you become very uncertain with the future. And it causes us a lot of stress, and it's really uncomfortable, and it gives us anxiety sometimes. And it's scary. It's scary to just change your life. And if you're feeling a little scared sometimes when you take your risks, it's okay. That's normal. But let me tell you more, okay? Would you rather be uncomfortable and be a risk taker and see your life go up, or would you rather be stagnant, unhappy? right? Like, do you want to be miserable or do you want to be happy? Okay, choose your path. If you want to be unhappy, you can click out of this video right now, because what I'm going to tell you guys right now, like, this journey is not easy, but abundance is not for the weak, right? If you want to be happy, like, it takes courage. It takes, I don't know, you just not being a scaredy cat. You have to take risks. This is how the mind works. And after I realized this is how I was able to just like change my life. You have thoughts. Okay, as humans, we have thoughts. Those thoughts, they can create feelings. And when they create feelings, it can turn into this loop of thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings. I mean, actually, not it can turn, it is. Like, when you have a thought, it will generate a feeling, which will generate a thought. And it's like this continuous cycle, and it turns you into the person you are today. Meaning, if you are a person that thinks happy thoughts all the time, it's gonna create like happy feelings. I mean, like, not even just like spiritually, but like scientifically, it's literally proven that if you have a thought, those thoughts can generate a chemical reaction in your brain, which produces feelings, okay? And so you're having happy thoughts, which creates happy feelings, which create happy thoughts, and it's this cycle. But imagine if it's the other way around. You're having really negative thoughts, and then it creates negative feelings. So you're sad, and then it creates sad feelings, and it's this cycle. If you're thinking miserable thoughts, you're gonna create a miserable life. So it's like, how can we combat this? How do we not create that loop so that we can live a happy life even when we have our unhappy thoughts? And I figured this out, guys. So when you have happy thoughts, you create happy feelings. But what happens if you have unhappy thoughts? This is where your guys' self-awareness comes in, and you have to live very consciously. I like to think that our brain has happy thoughts and our brain has like negative thoughts. And so I think of the happy side as my higher self, and I think of my negative thoughts as my shadow self. Shadow self just being the intrusive side, the side that's a little bit more pessimistic. I like to think basically my brain has a yin and yang. All humans have good and bad thoughts, but like when you see the most happiest person in the world, you wouldn't think they have negative thoughts, but I guarantee you they probably do, because as humans, we have both good and bad thoughts. And so what happens when we have unhappy thoughts? You have to be very conscious about the thoughts you have and learn how to communicate with it, and allow those thoughts to kind of have a place to like talk their shit, you know? Let them speak. But are we gonna let them have power? That's for you to decide. So if you have like a happy thought, most of the time we let those happy thoughts live, and we're just like, okay, you know, I'm feeling happy today. But a lot of times when we have our negative thoughts, a lot of us allow those negative thoughts to hold power over us, meaning we allow the shadow self to speak, and we allow it to foster emotions and feelings in our lives, because we think that those thoughts are really the truth. We think that they're the reality, when in reality, they're not. They're just a fucking thought. And are you gonna let a thought control your life? The answer is no. So whenever I have negative thoughts, this is my process. It's all about having compassion, okay? So when the negative thought comes, you kind of just allow it to speak. Sometimes in my head, it's like, I want to die. Okay, not to be like weird and pessimistic, but like, okay, truthfully, this is how my mind works. I want to die. And then I kind of sit there and I'm like, hold up, brain. Let's talk about this. Why are you feeling that way? Where are these emotions coming from? You feel negative? Okay, speak and talk your shit. Okay, you feel that way. Well, thank you for sharing, but I don't want to do that. I want to be happy. So thank you for sharing, but we're going to be happy over here. And that is what it means to be compassionate towards yourself. That's why people always say, like, you need to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you can love everything else, right? It's because if your brain is having these negative thoughts, to love yourself is to not let those negative thoughts hide in the shadows and stay hidden and build up over time and create anger and resentment in this world. To have self-love is to hear those thoughts out, but never allow it to hold power over your life. Now that is what it is to be a conscious being. Like, I'll be damned if I let a negative thought control me ever again, okay? A lot of times, like, we have trauma, and it's really hard to face those thoughts and emotions and negative connotations that we create about ourselves. It's really hard to face those things because they're super, super uncomfortable. But to have self-love is to realize that thoughts are thoughts, and it's human to feel everything. But to be a conscious being and to have self-love is to realize that those things really hold no power over you. And that's why I always say that healing is so important. I mean, what I'm teaching you guys right now is basically what healing is. It's like listening to your traumas and like giving them a platform to speak, but not giving them power to change your life and giving them the power to dictate how you see yourself and how you decide to live today, right? Again, like we all have bad thoughts, but if we can learn how to communicate with those thoughts truthfully, we can vanish all that negative energy. I mean, maybe not all of it, but we can learn how to work with it, and it might be afraid to come back. You'll have those days though where your negative thoughts want to come and they just want to speak and talk their shit. And you know, I have those days where I'm fucking depressed for like 3 days in a row, but it's not because I'm allowing my emotions to dictate me and my well-being. I mean, actually, no, yeah. So what I'm doing is basically just allowing my negative thoughts to talk. Like sometimes I allow 3 days to be super gloomy and just let them all speak. But it's because I know that in letting them speak, they're gonna get tired and then they're gonna want to go away. Like that's how I like to think. Like with healing, a lot of us think that hiding our emotions, it makes us not have to face them, but the reality is that when you hide away your emotions, they kind of just build up inside you, and it creates like a lot of anxiety and just like a lot of uncomfortableness inside. And that's when people usually are just super anxious. It's because, and especially when they don't know why they're anxious, it's because they have all of these built up emotions that they don't allow to speak. Again, they're just thoughts, and thoughts can't hurt you. That's why I have those days where I kind of just let it all come out, even if it makes me super negative for 3 days. But it's because I know that after I let them speak, I'm gonna feel a lot better. And that's basically what people do in therapy. They basically talk about their traumas, but that's why therapy is so wonderful. You finally allow those hidden emotions to be let out, and that's releasing. And healing is just so beautiful, and I do it every single day now. Like it's not something that I know will stop. Like healing is a forever type of thing. Like once you start embarking on your healing journey, you'll learn that it just never ends. Like it's a forever thing, but I really love it because after I heal certain things, like I learned that there's something else I need to heal, and I'm constantly just growing and understanding myself better. But in understanding yourself better and having more love and compassion towards yourself, you know, that type of energy is what starts shifting your reality. And you'll learn that once your energy shifts, the things around you also start to shift. Truthfully, healing is internal, but once you heal the internal, like you'll see it physically. And that's why I say, if you want to shift your reality, like it's really gonna start from within. Like the answers will never be outside of you. And when you think they're outside of you, that's where you need to heal. Okay? I used to Google everything. Literally talk to yourself. Sit in silence and meditate and really take time for yourself, even if it's fucking uncomfortable and boring. Like listen to your thoughts and don't be afraid to be uncomfortable, because the entire healing journey really, it's beautiful, but if you want to get to the beautiful part, it's gonna be a little nasty first, because like who wants to talk about their emotions? Nobody. But once you do it, it's very rewarding. Overall, guys, you just want to be a being of compassion and love. Like that's something that I've really learned recently. I learned that ever since I healed internally, it's really made me very comfortable with becoming a risk taker. And so I'm more risky in the ways of trying new things, but it's because I have this like self-love for me that created this confidence where if I try something new, I'm very confident that I'm gonna be fine. Because in healing the relationship with myself, it has like created this relationship with, I don't know, the future. Does that make sense? Like after I healed myself, I almost feel so confident that if I fuck up, I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna be able to bounce back. Does that make sense? And so ever since I healed, like I've been trying new activities, I've been taking on new projects. I know that once you guys heal and you guys start working on your internal, like it's gonna create more self-esteem. Like it really is. And it's gonna make you guys able to go try new things that will lead you on your highest path and your highest gut, because if you want to be like the CEO making $1 million, like I guarantee you that's not going to be an easy journey, and it's going to take a lot of risks, and it's going to take a lot of fucking up, but I embrace that shit. I want to be successful, you know, in my own way, and I know that if I'm going to be successful, I'm going to fuck up. People who succeed are the people who fail and fail and fail and fail. A lot of us who are still narrow-minded and not very, like, you know, experienced, we think that successful people got there without challenges, and we think that it was like easy. Firstly, successful people, like, they really put themselves out there to fuck up, and they put themselves out there for risk, but hey, literally that's what sets them apart. Like, they're up there because they fucked up so many times. They're not scared. I mean, you know what? They probably are scared, but they still fuck up because they know that there is always going to be a lesson learned at the end of that, and lessons are truly so beautiful when it comes to success and growing. You need lessons. Like, if you're not learning and putting yourself in a risk position, like, how can you grow? So yeah, that's basically my message for today. I feel pretty good that I filmed this, and I hope that you guys learned something. I'm so sorry for not having a episode for a fat minute. Recently, I've really just been taking risks, and it's so uncomfortable. Like, I look very happy, and I am, but I am very anxious a lot of the time too, but excited anxious, you know? Being excited is just like another word for being anxious, but like, you know, sometimes we're like uncomfortable anxious, but like what I'm talking about right now is like the excited anxious. If you're not living in this excited anxious, you're really not living at all. You're comfortable, you're stagnant. If you want to live like that, live like that. But like us, you know, the people that want to grow, we're gonna be uncomfortable, because living in comfortability just creates stagnancy. And I don't know, do you want to live like that? I don't know. It's something, food for thought, right? Something you guys can think about. Anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for listening.